Hello and welcome. My name is Kelly Sexton and I am a bridal coach here to guide you through your wedding planning journey. Now you might be wondering, what exactly is a bridal coach and how can I help you? Firstly, let me clarify, I am not a wedding planner. While I have experience in wedding planning and event planning, my role isn't to plan your wedding day for you. Instead, I'm here to be your support and to support you throughout your entire wedding planning process, offering you tools and resources and guidance to help you plan a stress-free and memorable day. As your bridal coach, I'm here to assist you from everything from family dynamics to specific wedding related questions. Whether it's about what questions you need to ask your venue or understanding contracts from your vendors, or even getting a guidance on vendors that are recommended. I'm also here to help you with the smaller details like deciding when to send out your invitations. My services are available through an online community where you'll find a step-by-step wedding planning process. And it starts from the moment you get engaged right the way through to the wedding day. This includes video and text support, along with downloadable PDF documents that you can print out or even save and keep in one place. Every week we have live calls where I answer your wedding planning questions, and you'll also be part of a private supportive online community with other brides that are in the wedding planning process and the journey just like you. And best of all, I've designed this platform to be affordable so that every bride, regardless of their budget, can have access to this support they deserve. However, today, we're here to focus on creating your wedding budget. I understand that finances are often one of the biggest sources for stress during wedding planning. But with a little bit of effort now, we can set you up for a smooth and worry-free journey. My goal is to help you feel prepared, empowered, and in control of your budget. So grab a notepad, jot down some notes that you'd like to refer back to at a later date. And thank you very much for being here. So let's get started on making your dream wedding a reality and without the overwhelm. So what should you expect from today? We are going to be talking about current wedding industry stats. We are going to be working out where your wedding funds are coming from, your wedding day priorities, because we all have those must-haves and non-negotiables on your wedding day, allocating your wedding budget, and a summary section to just finalize those little details. So let's dive straight in. With some up-to-date wedding planning statistics, 87% of couples in 2004 said that they overspent due to underestimating the actual costs themselves. 59% overspent on fashion and accessories. It's easy to forget those little details. 49% overspent on beauty, 51% overspent on their venue, 55% overspent on their food and drinks, and 52% overspent on desserts. This tells us we need to do a little bit more work in regards to seeing our actual costs. Now is a time for you to grab your notepad. This is where we're going to be working out how and where your wedding funds are coming from. So first things first, if you have been lucky enough to be gifted some wedding funds via your parents or family member or anything else, please make a note of them at the top and where they are coming from. If you are planning on using a credit card to pay for your wedding, then please make a note of that as well, and also sort of how much funds you're going to be having available and things to that effect. However, please don't stress if you don't have any of these things. It is very, very common these days for couples to be planning their weddings on just their salaries alone. So this isn't unusual. However, if that is the case, it is extremely important we do the work now to work out actually how much we can put aside each month for us to be planning our weddings, because otherwise it becomes such a burden if we are looking at things which actually aren't in our price range, or we actually haven't got the funds in yet because we're waiting for next month's salary. So this is now where we do a bit of work. You might be able to see on the presentation, there are 2 sheets that go on about couple savings. You can see a section of fixed expenses. You can see partner 1 and partner 2. You need to be working this out for each partner. If you have separate salaries or if you're working on joint accounts, please work it out so that we know. All right. So in here, you're going to be taking into consideration any things like rent or mortgages, any fixed bills that come into your house to the best of your ability on an average, any car expenses, any schooling expenses, any student loans, any fixed expense that you know you have every single month. Things like your your Netflix account or Amazon, any hobbies that you have every single week. How many times a week do we go out for dinner? All these types of little things need to be noted on here. After doing that, for each partner, we then need to be working out actually taking away our fixed expenses to what our current monthly salary is and work out what is left. This needs to be on both sides and then add up what is left. However, are you in a situation where potentially you're going to have to give up a little bit of luxury for a little while to be able to save them additional funds we want for our wedding day? For example, could we give up Amazon Prime? Could we stop having that weekly cup of coffee on our way home from work? Could we potentially go out once a month rather than 3 times a month? These are all things to consider when you are planning your wedding, because it's not forever and it's only temporary. So this is the time to take into consideration whether that is going to be a priority for you and your partner. So with this, you should end up with a figure of what you're going to be left with, and then take into consideration if you're having any finances gifted or you've got any credit cards, and this will end up giving you a ballpark figure of what you've got to provide for your wedding. So with your figure that you've got from your monthly salaries, obviously times that by how many months you're going to be potentially planning for. So if you are planning your wedding for in 12 months time, then you've got 12 months worth of that pay. So just be aware of that. Be aware that maybe a little bit less or a little bit more, but it's always best to give yourself a bit of a buffer in this situation as well. And the same thing goes for if you are being gifted any money. Will you be gifted that money ahead of time, or will you be paid that money each month? These are all key things to take into consideration, and this is going to give you a much clearer picture on what to expect coming up, and also how you can allocate your budget and where your budget needs to be spent each time. So this is a real key moment to make sure you know what actually is available for you to plan and prioritise your wedding expenses. Take your time to do this. Go over this a couple of times. Spend some time with your partner to also do this as well, and have a chat with family members in case they want to get involved. Enjoy this section. Speak to you in a minute. Hello again. Right, so now we're going to be talking about wedding priorities or wedding must-haves. This is something that is quite regularly forgotten to be. We know what are the key most important things for us on our wedding days, but we never really take it seriously enough to make a note of it, and not just make a note of it, actually make them particular items a priority when we're allocating our budget. Quite a few couples tend to have their budget and just go ahead and book as and when they want to and not really allocate something. And in quite a lot of cases, what happens with that is you then tend to run out of money, and then those things that are really important to you get forgotten or aren't done to the same way that's important, and actually showcases what really matters to you. So right now we need to do a little bit of an exercise in regards to what is most important. So when we picture our wedding day, we picture a certain type of thing, whether it is the big white dress, whether it is we're going to get married in a barn or a castle, or whether we want really extravagant flower decorations. Your priorities and must-haves are completely and utterly personal to you. They are not what everybody else wants or what everybody else says you have to have. They are all about you. You might want something absolutely crazy and completely unusual that other people wouldn't even dream of. You might want a themed, quirky, fun wedding. You might want to get married outside. You might actually want to just completely elope and go abroad. This is actually, none of these are a problem. It's just about knowing what is most important to you, because this is how we allocate our budget and make sure we have the funds available for you to be able to have them items. It may be that you might be working on a really tight, strict budget. So you may be able to spend on these luxury, most important things to you, but then you might have to cut back on little tiny details, things like wedding favours and a free bar and all this sort of stuff. It may give you the option to be able to do that, to be able to afford these very special, very personal, unique things for you. So on the presentation, you will notice I've got a few sheets. On each section, I've actually labelled and numbered, and on there are a few ideas on what sort of things are on people's categories. Have a look through that and then jot down your things. So on your notepad, once again, jot down the things that are most important to you. So just a quick example for this. So I never plan my wedding on a massive budget. It wasn't something I actually wanted to do. I didn't want to spend loads of money. I would have rather put my money into a property and actually having a home for us rather than spending the big wedding budget. So that was my priority. However, what I did want is I wanted my sisters and my brothers to be my bridesmaids and page boys. I am one of 7 children, so I knew that was going to be an expense, and I was also keen to make sure I funded that. So in return for that, I then cut back on other things. I didn't have ushers, and I went for a more cheaper available option for my favours and other little bits as well. So I made a sacrifice in some to be able to have what was really important for me. This is the time you do that. Make a list of those things that no matter what have to be at your wedding. So those things, when you think of your wedding, that's what you picture. This is your time to do that. Now we're going to be taking time to break down your wedding budget. Please use the chart on the presentation to guide you through this. The average wedding budget breakdown looks like this. Approximate figures. 48% of costs go on your venue. 13% of your budget goes on clothing. 10% goes on photography. 8% is on flowers, 7% on entertainment, 4% on any additional extras, 2% on stationery, 2% on ceremony, 2% on rings, 2% on transport, and 2% on gifts. 2022 versus 2023, wedding costs went up by 12.5%. We expect it to be a similar increase for 23 to 24. This has resulted in many more couples having to DIY and plan a lot more than they anticipated. In 2023, the average wedding cost was $20,700. However, please don't stress about this, because if you haven't got that large budget, it doesn't mean you still can't plan a stunning day on the funds that you have. So with the fact that you have your funds, now is time to work out where you're going to be allocating your budget. Don't forget to use your priorities. Make use of that percentage list that I've given you and start making notes. Please remember that this is not set in stone, but just to give you a good idea on where your budget and your funds are being allocated. Take your time with this. Discuss it with your partner. Now is the time to get planning and organising your wedding once you've sussed this part. Enjoy. So in summary, firstly, I would like to say thank you very much for joining me on this budget mini workshop. It's been absolutely brilliant, and I hope you have found it very, very useful. Don't forget, if you do have any questions, feel free to pop over to my social media pages, or not just social media. I also will add my email address on the last slide as well. I am completely and utterly happy for you to email if you have any questions. So as you could probably see by the presentation, there were documents that we use. They actually come off my wedding planning membership, which is what I mentioned to you in the very beginning in my introduction. So I do have one last bit of exciting news for you. So I am about to open up my doors to my membership for the very first time. I have been working so hard on building this affordable platform for brides to make their lives easier and stress-free, and for a lot of reasons actually, to be able to allow them to enjoy the wedding process without the stresses. And because it's very close to my heart, allow it to be affordable, that you can afford it even if you are working on that super tight budget. So I am looking for 10, only 10 brides to come and be my founding members. So with being a founding member, you are going to be getting full access to my online wedding planning courses and workshops and all the tools and the PDFs and everything on those lines. You will also be getting access to the private community, which obviously everybody will be on, so we can ask questions and support each other. And you get weekly live sessions with me to ask any questions. And not only that, I have other wedding professionals jumping in and on as well. So the doors for that are going to be opening on the 22nd of November. And I'm offering this at a founder's rate of £10 per month. But that isn't all. You are able to cancel at any time. I do not want to hold anybody hostage. I really want to add value and actually be a supportive role for brides and couples planning their weddings. So it will be £10 per month. I'm really keen to add the value and support in there. Not only with that, you're going to be getting 1 week access for free. So in that week, if it's not what you want it to be, you can cancel at any point and actually walk away without spending any money. So if you would like to know more about this and be one of my founding brides that are going to be the first to jump in and use this wonderful tool that I have built, please do email me. It's at kelly@creativebrides.com. However, on the next slide, you'll see all my contact details. Please let me know, because like I said, it is very, very small numbers I'm going to allow in, because I actually want these people to feel so special, because you guys are going to be shaping my community and also being keys to providing these wonderful tools and information I'm going to be providing in the future. So please join me if it's something you feel that you would benefit from. Take advantage now, why it's better than half price before the big launch in January. And I can't wait to include you and invite you into our online community. And I look forward to speaking with you very, very soon. Don't forget, follow us on socials. Not just follow us on socials. If you want free content regularly, then we have a YouTube channel with long form content for you. There will also be DIY and crafting tutorials. You could probably see some of the bits and pieces in the background. I will be showing you how to do these things. I have lots of super, super exciting plans. But if you want to be part of my founding members on my membership, then please do email me. I really do look forward to helping, and also look forward to welcoming you into my life and my community. I can't wait to be helping people. I am very grateful for you joining us today, and enjoy your wedding planning journey, and really do absorb it all and enjoy it, because I promise you this is a truly, truly exciting time. So happy wedding planning, everybody, and I hope to see you in and around online.